welcome to Ryno's Orioles Report. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Who'd have thunk it? The Orioles go into the Tropicana field and take all 4 games from the Tampa Bay Rays. Not to be confused with the uniforms they wore Friday night that said Devil Rays. Why I'm still a little confused with that. It's no small feat. Now, maybe it's a little easier nowadays, or at least this year, because pitching for the Rays, which has always seemed to be there, especially for the past, 5-6 years, isn't necessarily there, and the hitting hasn't been there for a while for the Rays. Came to bite them this series, and they lost all 4 games. See, I'm on MASSonsports.com. Get to game 1. Baltimore Orioles 6, Tampa Bay Rays 3. Again, from Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. How about that? Henderson, a hit and a run scored. Rutschman over. I say you don't see this much, but every time I see it, I mention it, and I feel like I've mentioned it a bit. 1 for 10 between your 1 and 2 hitters. Ugh, with 5 strikeouts. Odd how that happens. Seems to be happening more. More of a book on these guys. They're relatively young. Just take the league a while to catch up. Mountcastle, a hit, 2 RBIs, a run scored. O'Hearn, a hit and a run scored. Santander, 2 hits, an RBI, a run scored. Also walked once. Westberg, 2 hits, 2 RBIs, scored a run. Kowser hit and scored a run. Mullins, over. Urias, a hit and an RBI. O'Hearn, Urias with doubles. Mountcastle, Santander, and Westberg with home runs. During this series, the Orioles reached over 100 home runs on the season and are the leaders, at least as of, last night. They were, or soon they still are. Henderson, another throwing error. He does get to a lot of balls. So maybe some of this is because he's getting to some of these balls that not that many other players can get to. So he's, instead of it being an infield hit, he's trying to throw the ball and he kind of throws it away. Well, the Orioles baseball has changed a little bit. From what I know, Cal Ripken's senior philosophy was don't make half a good play. Henderson does that a little too more than my liking. Too much, little too more, little too much more. You know what I'm trying to say. Cole Irvin got to start in this game. 5 2/3 innings pitched. Does give up 8 hits. But 3 runs, only 2 earned. He'll take that. No walks. I think that's part of why you'll take it. Not walking anybody. So even if there are hits, at least you can say the other team is earning it. They do get paid too. Struck out 6. More than a strikeout an inning. Wow. Technically he pitched in 6 innings, but didn't pitch a full 6 innings. One of the weird things about baseball. Jacob Webb on in relief finishes out the 6th inning and then pitches the full 7th. Does give up a hit, but no runs, no walks, no strikeouts. Cano into the game in the 8th inning. Records his 15th hold. No hits, no runs. Does walk a batter, but strikes 2 out. Kimbrel on for his 14th save. No hits, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts. 14 pitches, 8 strikes for Kimbrel. It's pretty damn pitch efficient. Of course, you could say the same about Jacob Webb. 17 pitches, 10 strikes, and he pitched an inning and a third. Where was nice way to start off this 4-game series. Back-to-back 4-game series. There was potential there in Toronto to take all 4 of the games, if not at least 3 of the 4. Just couldn't get it done the last 2 games. So to have a little bit of bounce back game and get it done in game 1, especially knowing what happened in game 2 and also the rest of the series. Game 2, Baltimore Orioles 5, Tampa Bay Rays 0. Henderson, 1 hit, 3 RBIs, run scored, also worked a walk. Rutschman, just 1 hit, but also worked a walk. Mountcastle, same thing. A hit and a walk. Ryno Hearn, 2 hits and an RBI, also scored twice. Hayes, pinch hit it, or I guess defense replacement later in the game, then actually got in a bat, which is very nice. And he got a hit. How about that? Yay, Austin Hayes. Starting to turn it around. There was some speculation that maybe called another setback because of maybe an injury. Hayes got drilled in the ribs. Toronto wasn't sure how that was going to affect him. But looks like he's probably okay. Santander a hit, also worked a walk. Westberg a hit and an RBI. Stowers, sadly only 2 at-bats. He did kind of dive for a ball out there in left field. Kind of got his wrists caught up under him a little bit. So he's kind of removed. Cowser went into the game as a replacement, left field, and this was before Hayes was out there. Then Cowser goes to right field, and Hayes is in there to left field. I'm not completely sure why you're putting Hayes in there for O'Hearn. Why not just leave Hayes in right field? I don't know what the difference is, really. I think Hayes' arm is a little better, but that's to a certain extent. I think it's definitely a little more accurate than Cowser, so I'm not even sure. But I mean, they both got good arms, so I don't even know why flip-flop it is. Kind of silly, but all right. Norby still getting several at-bats with Jorge Mateo still out. And making good on that. A hit and a run scored. Arias does come in late for a defense replacement in the infield, which doesn't bode well. I mean, at least at this point, we're all speculating that Jorge Mateo will return. Well, then what do you do? Well, seeing as how you would actually put Urias in there to play defense in the later innings, it's probably Norby that's going to go back down because apparently the team doesn't have that much confidence in Norby's defensive abilities. At least not yet anyway, we'll see. Mullins, yes, another night hitless, disappointing, though he did work a walk and score a run. Santander, Hayes with doubles, Westberg with a triple, O'Hearn and Henderson with home runs. And check this out, O'Hearn stole another base. Hey man, if they're going to give it to you, take it, I guess, right? Cowser also stole a base. Bradish gets the start in this one. Back to form for Bradish. He did have somewhat of we'll call it a lackluster previous start coming off of that 7-inning no-hitter in Chicago where he threw a lot of pitches. Somewhat concerning that, I mean, it's possible, that start in Chicago had nothing to do with it, but you can't help but look at a strenuous outing in Chicago and then not a great outing in Toronto. And then, with the normal rest time maybe not throwing that many pitches like he did in, let's say, Chicago, get this performance. 6 full innings pitched, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 9 strikeouts. Definitely mentioned that on the broadcast. Oh, Brandon Hyde, sigh of relief because somebody got a hit off of Bradish. Not exactly easy thing to do. Like, oh, your pitcher's throwing a no-hitter. Shit. I can't take him out now, can I? Sometimes you got to. Danny Coulomb, 2 innings pitched. Yes, that is right. Danny Coulomb, 2 full innings pitched. Yeah, it happens every once in a while. Get on a roll. Coulomb did throw 30 pitches. It's a little too much, but at the same time, it's not that much, I guess. Just thinking how you save somebody else an up and getting into the game. So maybe that was, going through Brandon Hyde's mind there. Probably. That and Coulomb, very effective in his 2 innings pitched here. No hits, no runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts. Perez gets the 9th in this game. Not a save situation, so Perez in. Pitches the full 9th inning. Does give up a hit, but no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. There you go. Come to game 3 now. This game was a little relatively close game up until, really the 8th inning. The Orioles broke it out for 4 more add-on runs. Final score was Baltimore Orioles 9, Tampa Bay Rays 2. Henderson, 2 hits, a walk, 3 runs scored. Rutschman, 3 hits, 6 RBIs, and a run scored. Wow. Mountcastle, no hits, but does have an RBI and work a walk. O'Hearn, hitless. Surprising. Santander, a hit, an RBI, a run scored. Westberg, 3 hits, 2 runs scored. Kowser, 2 hits and an RBI. Arias, no hits, but worked a walk and scored a run. And Cedric Mullins, 2 hits. Oh my God. Cedric got 2 hits? Wow. Barely see him get 1 hit, and he's getting 2. Also scored a run. Henderson, Westberg with doubles. Mullins, Westberg, and Kowser with triples. Yeah. It is kind of a... Tropicana Field is kind of a somewhat big, wonky with some of the angles, kind of ballpark. It is definitely hitter-friendly. Santander, Rutschman with home runs. Yep. 2 out RBIs. 4 here for Rutschman. Yeah, grand slam with 2 outs. Mullins stolen base. See, that's what happens when you get on base, Mullins. Need to keep this up. Rodriguez gets a start in this game. Couldn't go the full 6 innings. You could tell Brandon Hyde was trying to get him to go 6 full innings, but the pitch count just got up there. Ended the night with 107 pitches, 70 strikes, which is great. Foul balls are, I think, becoming a problem for the league, really. I mean, you think about it, you get to 2 strikes, and then the hitter can foul off 7 pitches, which only really makes sense because, that's how the rule has been this whole time. But shouldn't we be like, well, no, hitter, you don't get that many chances. You can have 3 or 4, but after that, man, if you're still hitting it foul, that you're out. Right? I mean, should we really keep doing this? 10, 15 pitch at bats because hitters are fouling 7, 8 pitches off. Should we really keep doing this? Should we really keep making pitchers throw this much? Throwing overhand is not a natural motion of the arm. That's why there's a lot of arm injuries. But no, let's keep making pitchers throw more. But that's all right. Rodriguez did get into a bit of trouble in the sixth inning. That's why it was kind of, I'd wanted to pull him, but also didn't want to pull him. You want him to progress and such, but again, the pitch count got up there too high for Brandon Hyde to continue to allow Grayson Rodriguez to try to get out of the jam. So, final line, 5 2/3 of innings pitched, does allow 2 hits and 2 runs, only 1 walk, which is good, strikes out 6. And as I mentioned, Rodriguez did get in some kind of trouble. Tate to the rescue, somewhat anyway. Does get the last out in the 6th, but not before issuing a walk and a hit. But does strike the final batter out, and it's only 2 runs, so you're not that worried about it. And because the game was closer, Tate is awarded a hold. Didn't happen, because I said the Orioles jumped up on four runs later in the game. Perez actually also gets a hold in this game because it was more of a save situation at this time. Gets the full 7th inning. No hits, no runs, no walks, 1 strikeout. There you go. Keegan Aiken pitches the final 2 innings, the 8th and the 9th. It's kind of nice to have, when some of your bullpen arms can take 2 innings relatively easy. Only takes Aiken 36 pitches. Isn't great, but it's not that bad either. A full 2 innings pitched for Aiken. Does allow 3 hits. Does escape without giving up any runs. Also walks a batter, so 4 base runners, not great. Does strike 3 out, though. Aiken has become a very useful left-handed option in the bullpen. Let's go to game 4. I already told you it was a sweep. Baltimore Orioles 5, Tampa Bay Rays 2. Henderson 3 hits and an RBI. Scored 3 times. Westberg batting second here. Not Adley Rutschman. Shocker. The guy has an over, so he may not be batting second very much anymore. O'Hearn 3 hits and 3 RBIs. There you go. Good thing you have O'Hearn out there. Mountcastle 2 hits. Santander over. Cowser 1 hit. Arias no hits. Mullins no hits. James McCann 2 hits and RBI. Scored twice and walked once. Don't see McCann get very many hits. You rarely see him get 2 hits, it seems like. Of course, he doesn't play that much. Seems like Rutschman's in there too much, which, spoiler alert, he wasn't in here if you didn't pick that up. Shocking to see a game played by the Baltimore Orioles and Brandon Hyde actually kept Adley Rutschman out of the lineup. Well, I mean, that's what happens when, you're playing good and you're scoring lots of runs, and you don't need Rutschman to pinch hit and come in later in the game. O'Hearn, Henderson with doubles. McCann and Henderson with home runs. McCann also stole a base. Yeah, that happened. Getting bored sitting on a bench too much, I guess. I don't know. Oh, Westberg fielding error. Disappointing. Was a ball that should have been caught. It wasn't caught. It's kind of hurt here. You can see 2 earned runs, but, not earned runs. 2 runs, but not 2 earned runs. 0 for earned runs. Disappointing. Because it would have been the final out of the inning. So you got a runner on, and then the next guy hits a home run. So 2 unearned runs. Luckily, it was Corbin Burns on the mound. So if any in your rotation there that you would want to try to get out of a situation like that, or at least deal with a situation like that, it would be your ace. And that was really the only blemish on his night. 7 full innings pitched, only gives up 5 hits. Does allow 2 runs, but again, not earned. Does walk 1 batter. So you got a whip of less than 1. Strikes out 6. Keeping it low scoring for Cano in the 8th and then Kimbrel in the 9th. Uh-oh. Kimbrel twice in the series. What's going to happen? Oh, no. Well, you already know the score. Cano with another hold. Pitches a full 8th inning. No hits, no runs. Does walk a batter. But strikes 2 out. Kimbrel in the 9th. 15th save of the year. Climbing up those all-time save rankings. No hits, no runs. Does walk a batter. But strikes 2 out. Oddly enough, Kimbrel throws 20 pitches. Only 9 of them were strikes. That's weird. Weird. Very weird. Though baseball can be a weird sport sometimes. It really can. All right, let's get to this. And I want to pull up this schedule because I forgot to do that already. Of course, I forgot to do that. All right, this article written here by Rock Kubatko. This is from Today. It's written an hour or so ago. Headline really says it all. Teo listed as shortstop. Norby missing from reserves. Haven't seen like an official transaction sending Norby down to AAA, but as Rock mentions in here, and this is kind of an assumption because we haven't seen the official move, taking a look at the Braves scorecard, Norby isn't listed as a reserve. So, I mean, what happened? Like, right? Like, say, there's a debate. Like, well, what are you going to do when Teo comes back? Well, you really got 3 options, right? Cedric Mullins does have options. You don't want to do it. He is very valuable defensively in center field, regardless of how much he's hitting or how much he isn't hitting. Stowers is another option. He got 5 outfielders. Stowers is not getting a lot of playing time. He did kind of have that thing on the slide or dive with his wrist. And then obviously Norby. Well, because you're going to take Norby out of the lineup in favor of Urias for defensive purposes, it kind of leads you to believe that it would be Norby. But again, we haven't seen anything official, at least as of Rock writing this article. And me, I looked a little bit here before I started this video and I couldn't really see. I didn't see anything. So who knows? Though at the same time, you do have like 5 outfielders. So it's 5 dudes for 3 positions. But you got like, what, 5, 6 infielders? I'm trying to count them all. Right, because you have O'Hearn reserve at first base and then Urias reserve for the infield. So you got 6 guys for 4 positions. It's like, you probably could use another infielder more than another outfielder, but However, it's fine. I want Stowers up, but I want him to get more playing time. Oh, and in case, maybe I glossed over it, you didn't understand, well, Mateo's in there at shortstop. Well, obviously, probably because Gunnar Henderson, at least at this point, is getting the night off. Obviously. At least that's the idea. We'll know when the game starts, right? It's kind of odd. It's like, oh, hey, welcome back from the 7-day concussion IL. Go in there and play shortstop for Gunnar Henderson. Sure. Yeah. Not really covering yourself, but, it's fine. Do whatever. Tonight starts a 3-game series back at Camden Yards with the Atlanta Braves. Not a team you see come in too often. Does happen. It is kind of odd to have Braves and then Phillies back-to-back home series, but hey, it works, right? Sure. Schedules line up and whatnot. Tonight's game, really, I guess, scheduled for 6:35. Wednesday's game scheduled for 6:35 as well. Thursday's game scheduled for 1:05. Phillies next. That is going to do it for this edition of Ryno's Orioles Report. Stay tuned for Friday will be the next edition, and I will talk about the series between the Baltimore Orioles and the Atlanta Braves just ahead of the series with the Philadelphia Phillies. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I am the Angry Ryno, and this is Birdland.